Hi, I'm Robin, and welcome to Well Conceived Business. We help online business owners within health and wellness to create a business and life that is not only well paid, but well lived. Here you'll find honest and refreshing conversations about what it takes to create a business around your life, what healthy hustle looks like, as well as insights and tips on growing your audience, your signature program, your profit, and your peace. Ready? Let's go. Hi, and welcome to Well Conceived Business. How are we at the end of the year already? I honestly do not know where this year has gone. It's felt simultaneously like the fastest year and the longest year, and really eventful. Like, so many things have happened in the business. And one of the things that I've been reflecting on recently is the even keel nature of how I feel about my business. If you listen to last week's episode, you'll know that the way that I set out to run my business this year was very different to the way that my business landed. And there's definitely been moments of scary and big decisions in the business, but by and large, I felt like it's all really calm, and I've felt really settled in the direction. I've really trusted the way that everything is unfolding and feel generally positive and excited about the next steps in my business. And I firmly believe that this is also why things get done in the business. I am able to show up consistently, and how we achieved six figures in 6 hours per week, where in the midst of me juggling my husband's business with him, a part-time job, two little children, and all of the things. So I really wanted to share with you as we are ending the year and rounding out the year, and as you might be doing some reflecting on how you want to start the year, who you want to be, what needs to change, and how you can elevate and step into the next level of your business, whether some of these mindsets will also serve you. So I'm talking about 9 mindsets that have helped me step out of overwhelm. They've helped me stay on course. They've helped me achieve goals that honestly 10 years ago I wouldn't have ever dreamed possible. Even during the wobbles, even during the tough seasons, even when things haven't gone to plan, even when it's felt like my personal life and my family is demanding so much of me, how have I remained steady and strong in business? And as I also have this program, Launch Easy Life, and we have the mastermind, more and more I'm also seeing that the people who succeed in launches, in product development, through things just like growing Instagram accounts and podcasts, it is the people who can remain steady and strong and continue to execute even when things don't go to plan. And one of the things that we talk about in Launch Easy Life is like these mid-launch wobbles. If you ever go through a live launch of a program or a service, let's say you have a 7-day launch, that period in the middle of the launch is always a quieter period for sales. And we've noticed a lot more people needing that urgency and last minute purchasing. So even when we had our last reset launch, 60% of people purchased within the last 48 hours. So if I had got to, let's say, a third of the way through the launch, I would have had, maybe 20% of the sales that we would have made through that entire launch. So how can you remain steady and calm through that and trust that you need to continue showing up, that you need to continue showing up with the right energy, the right mindset, whilst also having the ability to potentially pivot or potentially not pivot, knowing that that's just the way that the market is. So this is something that we work through a lot in the Well Conceived Mastermind. It's also something that a lot of the women who join us in the Well Conceived Mastermind are also very naturally good at or trained to be good at, right? Because not everything works in business. Sometimes life calls you in a lot more, and and things in business have to be tweaked, have to be changed. Deadlines need to change. Expectations need to change. Sometimes the absolute ish hits the fan in launches. And in actual fact, I'd probably say that if you have not had a launch where things have gone pear-shaped, or you've been let down in some unexpected way by technology, then have you even launched? Because it happens frequently, and business is not like get to the next level, get to the next level, get to the next level in terms of success. It's sometimes like a roller coaster. And some of you may be feeling that as well, as maybe you set really big goals for the beginning of this year and maybe you haven't achieved them, or maybe things have looked really differently for you. Maybe you have felt unaligned and felt like things need to change. And now you're coming to the end of the year and thinking, who do I need to be? What needs to change? What needs to happen in order for me to not just reach, but exceed both my goals and my expectations? And strategy is so incredibly important. We are very strategy heavy in the Well-Conceived Mastermind, but you also can't neglect mindset. And I know that so many of you know this as well from working with your clients. The clients who get the best results are also the clients who have the best mindset, and it's the same for business. So that's what we're talking about today, is how can you remain even-keeled and focused on your success and set yourself up for more success. This is what we're talking about in today's podcast, the 9 mindsets I swear by in my business. So number 1 is I have this mantra that I use all of the time. It's just a fucking pixel on the internet. So in my business, I have 2 virtual assistants who I love, who we work with very closely, and I have absolutely nada desire to have like a buttload of employees in my business. That doesn't serve me. I would much prefer to have a smaller, more intimate business that is more bespoke, that gives me the freedom that I want. The whole purpose of having my business is so that I can have the freedom and flexibility to support my girls, to have free time and rest in my life. And I think we can very easily get sucked into the vortex of business. We can get sucked into the vortex of numbers. And then when things don't go to plan, maybe you've planned a launch and again, you've been let down in some capacity by technology, it can feel like it's an emergency. And the first time I really started using this phrase or this philosophy, nothing is an emergency, it's just a pixel on the internet, was around the time of the US election a few elections ago. And I learned about this thing called the football. And so the football, for anyone who's not in the US or doesn't know, I think it's the vice president has someone who walks behind him all the time, or maybe it's the president, someone who walks behind him all of the time carrying a briefcase. And the briefcase is called the football. Within the football are the nuclear codes. And so one of the other phrases that I was used is it's not the football. Like, I'm not holding the nuclear codes that could potentially blow up the world. I'm not solving world hunger. I'm not curing cancer. It's posting on Facebook, playing on Instagram. It's like a webinar. It's nothing that I'm doing is going to make or break humanity as we know it, which doesn't mean, nothing that I do makes a difference, but it means that there's so much more flexibility, and that do I need to sit in a place of taking things really seriously, getting angry, projecting that on my team, not taking personal responsibility? Hell no. Nothing's an emergency. So nothing in business is ever an emergency. And that is the way that I flow through things. So if you're getting to the end of the year now, because I know that we're in the beginning of December, for all of us who are mamas, school holidays are coming up, it can feel, and I definitely know and feel the pressure of feeling the end of year creep up, still having goals that you want to achieve, still having a workload that seems impossible, and feeling the pressure to get everything done. But on the same token, nothing is an emergency, right? All of the deadlines and dates and to-do lists that you have set in your business are yours. You set them. So if you want more grace, you don't have to put your hand up and ask the teacher. You just get to say to yourself, look, is this really something that has to happen by this date? Or is this something that we can switch and change around? And often the answer is yes, you can just extend the deadline. If you extend the deadline all the time, you might find it hard to run a thriving business. But on the same token, if you need some grace, you're the boss. You can give that to yourself. Nothing is an emergency. It's just a pixel on the internet. So number 2 is the buck stops with me. So like I said, I have 2 incredible ladies who I work with in the business, but I also am very well aware that the responsibility or lack thereof for the success of the company lies with me. If something is done poorly in the business, if there's expectations that haven't been met or deliverables that haven't been met by anyone, if there are results that we wanted to achieve that we haven't achieved, I'm very much aware and take personal responsibility for that myself. Because often when something doesn't happen in your business that maybe you've relied on other people for, or results that you wanted, it's actually a result of your personal execution as the leader of your company. Because did you set clear expectations? One of the things I used to talk about in management was, did you close the loop? So you asked someone to do something. Did you follow up with that to ensure that it was done? Did you follow up when the deadline was approaching? Did you provide adequate training so that there was no question and no room for error? Did you train people accurately and invest time in training people? And often, if that's how you're feeling, the result is no, you didn't. Like if I asked you that question and you were coming back to me, often the answer is, oh, well, actually, no, I didn't. Maybe I set something up really quickly. I was in a flap and didn't give adequate instructions, didn't follow up until after the date. Well, you're the CEO of the company, so the buck stops with you. If you are overloading your staff with things, whatever that looks like, there's always a way around it. And it's often a result of training and communication, and whether that's communicating expectations, communicating training, following up on training, whatever that looks like. As the leader of your business, the buck stops with you. Number 3, everything is figure outable. I firmly believe that everything is possible and everything is figure outable. So what's possible for other people, I firmly believe is possible for me too. When I see other people on the internet who are succeeding and getting wild results, I get really excited. I feel like it's a sign that the market is working, that people are buying, that it's possible for success in particular niches, that incredible people are out there, and it just needs to be figured out, right? So I think, was it Sir Isaac Newton who had so many trials of a failed light bulb? Think of the head, so like Colonel Sanders, the head of KFC, who approached like 2,000 different diners to stock his fried chicken recipe. And everything is figure outable. If your funnel isn't working in your business, let's look at the data and see how we can fix it, right? So if your social media isn't working and it's not getting traction, it's figure outable, right? Nothing is forever. Nothing is the end. Again, circling back to deadlines, it takes as long as it takes. So if you're not having success, keep tweaking, keep finding that consistency and figure out the answer. So rather than ever sitting in problems, let's say, for example, I've had a launch that hasn't gone very well. I look at the data and figure out the solution to how we can improve next time, rather than sitting and dwelling on the fact that my launch may not have met my expectations. Because also the success you do or don't have in your business is largely based on the expectations that you've set for yourself. So Maybe that it is figuring out different expectations that are more realistic, but also having a look at, well, okay, how do we do this? There's always a solution to everything. So we can't just sit in problems. We can step back and have a look at the solutions. And that's a lot easier to do when you have data as well. Number 4, and this is probably one of the number one mindsets that I have that has resulted in success. Make decisions and make them fast. So and I always refer back to this, there was a study, I think, done once. I have not Googled the study ever since then to find the exact source, that spoke about the difference between CEOs and low to middle level managers. And the difference wasn't that they made a higher proportion of good decisions versus bad decisions. The difference was that number one, they made decisions, and number two, they made them really quickly. So that was the biggest difference. So you'll make great decisions, you'll make poor decisions, you'll do things and be like, oh, no, like that wasn't the right move. That's fine. But the difference is that you made the move. So I've always relied on making decisions really quite quickly. This is what we're going to launch. Now execute. And having that momentum in my business. And I firmly believe if I had to pick just one thing, this would be right up there as one of the things that I have believe has resulted in a multi-six-figure business in a small number of hours per week. Number 5 is leap. And I think this is a really big one for any of you who are sitting at that like $50,000 to $100,000 mark, or even maybe a little bit below. My question is, are you playing it safe or are you taking a leap? And sometimes, especially when it comes to things like investing in mentorship or investing in things like Facebook ads, trusting that the return on investment is there. So I don't look at straight up costs. I look at where I want to go and what is required to get there. I heard a video not that long ago that I think probably epitomizes what I'm trying to say really well. This is the difference between a broke person and a millionaire. If you walk up to a broke person on the street and say, I'll sell you this backpack for $500, a broke person will say, nope, that backpack isn't worth $500. A rich person will say, what's in the backpack? And sometimes what is in the backpack is so much more valuable than the backpack. So a rich person is always looking for opportunities. And sometimes, often, opportunities don't come by continuing to play it safe and continuing to do the same. If you want to leap from income level to income level to income level, and you've already had some success, you understand a bit of what, like what the strategy is, etc. Sometimes it's time to leap into scary and unknown things so that you can have that return on investment and get to the next level. And sometimes that looks like reinvesting large parts of your revenue back into your business. Number 6, be the dumbest person in the room. This is a concept that I have firmly embraced this year. I have been in containers and rooms before where I have felt like I've been the smartest person in the room. I am currently in a space where I show up to my mastermind calls and I'm like, oh my God, I feel like the rookie of the group. And this is exactly what I wanted and called myself into. I do not, and this, I suppose in some ways feeds into the concept of taking the leaps. If I'm the smartest person in the room, I am not going to be challenged and I am not going to be pushed. I'm not going to be able to learn from everyone. I want to be the beginner in the room. I want to hear the conversations that people at the level above me are having and normalize that in my brain. I want to normalize the level of action that they're taking. I want to normalize the conversations that they're having with their coach and they're having with their clients so that the next level is possible for me. So I am in a space right now where I always want to be as triggering as it is, and my ego keeps getting in the way, right? But that's what I wanted. I joined this experience because that's exactly what I wanted. I want to be the dumbest in the room so that it's not, it's people helping lift me up and normalize different levels in business. Number 7, life matters. You are not your Instagram account. And this may be controversial and go against what some other people are saying, but I don't have a business so that I can have an Instagram account. I have a business so that I can have a life that is wild and fun for my children, so that I can have a business that gives me free time. And so I don't let my business overrun my life. What sometimes that means is that I adjust my expectations to suit. So it's very easy for everyone to go out there and, especially once you get into the mindset of seeing other people succeed and saying, oh, I want that too. Like if they can do it, I can do it. But the trap is we can often get stuck in comparing ourselves to people whose lives look completely different to us, people whose lives we would not trade. So maybe they are people who don't have kids. Maybe they're people who work 16-hour days. Maybe they're just people who work full time and you don't want to work or can work full time. And so I think it's really important for us to step back into our why. Why do you have your business? And also, are you living a lot of that now? When I look at the dream, for me, my dream is being able to walk my kids to school and back. It's being able to send my kids to private school. It's having the freedom to go on holidays all the time. And I can get stuck in, like I said, the pressure to get everything done. We're coming up to school holidays. I like to take school holidays off. The answer sometimes is, well, number 1, you already do take school holidays off. Number 2, just take school holidays off and pick up where you left off. And so I know that it's a little bit more nuanced than that, but quite often we're already living the life that we want, but yet we still get sucked into things like the Instagram vortex where there is never an enough number. What does enough look like to you? How can you not get sucked into the vortex? And we used to have in the Reset program lessons that specifically talked about the way that things like social media and even things like email are structured, in that they play on certain parts of your brain. Like one of the concepts is called random rewards, that make us want to or feel like we need to be doing more. And particularly with the advent of social media, I think it's really important to have the conscious conversation with yourself that you're here for a life, not just an Instagram account, and you're not here just to have a business. So if you're like, should I work late again tonight? Is the goal, is your why to work late again at night? And what would it look like to say, actually, not tonight? So just a thought, but I firmly believe that life matters, and I'm here to live my life in the present moment and not feel beholden to the algorithms or my business. We can become slaves to our business. Number 8, do one thing well, then move on. And that doesn't mean do one thing forever until it's perfect, but it does mean get in the flow, do it well, figure it out, and then move on. So whether that is you create and launch a particular online course, don't then go and create another one and another one and another one. Before that one is converting well. It doesn't mean, going and adding all of the social media accounts and doing all of them poorly. Focus on just one. Do one thing well. And a lot of people will call this the rule of ones. One social media channel, one program, one sales machine, one. Get all of that stuff working, then move on to the next thing. And I've always done this. And number 9, the last one, and this was, I didn't choose a word for about 3 years straight. I chose a song, and the song is by Kid Cudi, and it's called Surfin'. And I used to listen to this song all of the time, and the song is about surfing your own wave. Again, stepping back into comparisonitis, seeing where everyone else is. And when you are stepping into a space of seeing other people and not feeling inspired, or looking at other people and feeling overwhelmed, I always used to play this song because I'm here surfing my own wave. I'm creating the life that I want. I'm not here to create the life anyone else wants. I don't have to have a business that looks like everyone else. I don't have to have messaging that looks like anyone else's. It's okay for me to be me and to have a business that looks like the way that I want my dream life and my dream business to look like. And that's going to be different and unique to everybody else on the market. So I have always firmly believed in surfing my own wave. I try not to get sucked into just sitting and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling rather than having my own unique ideas, and really always trying to call myself back to what is in alignment for me rather than what's in alignment for, or trying to copy other people with things that might be in alignment for them. So circling back, nothing is an emergency. The buck stops with me. Everything is figure outable. Make decisions fast. Take the leap. Be the dumbest person in the room. Life matters. Do one thing well and surf your own wave. I really hope that maybe that's within that there is 1 or 2 things that you need to or wanted to hear. And if you haven't heard yet, the doors are open to take applications to the Well Conceived Mastermind. We are commencing in March, and that is so that everyone has the space and capacity to make it through the Christmas period and the early New Year. If you're in like Australia, that's our big school holidays. So the intention is that we have the opportunity to move past that and then start in March. But we only have a very limited number of spaces. So if it's something that you're considering, or you're listening to this and like, yes, I want to be, the dumbest person in the room, or you want strategies and mindset to help you move forward in 2024, then I would highly encourage you to apply ASAP. You can secure your spot with a small deposit, so you do not need to join and then start paying straight away. But we would love to see you on the other side of the Well Conceived Mastermind, and we are confirming places now. So if you'd like to learn more, visit us at launcheasylife.com/mastermind. I cannot wait for this next round. We've made some incredible up levels and upgrades into the program, and it's honestly phenomenal. So visit us at launcheasylife.com/mastermind. We'd love to see you apply. That's it for me today. Have the best week. Bye. We are done with the meat and potatoes of this episode, but I am not letting you go just yet, my friend. Before you jump off, I have 3 quick things that I would love to share with you. Number 1 is thank you so much for listening today. If you'd like to hear more about growing your visibility through Instagram, podcasting, or Pinterest, creating or launching or growing your signature program, automations, or many more online business nuggets of gold, pause now, hit that subscribe button because we are here for you weekly. Number 2 is if you would like to learn more about working with us and joining our signature program, the Well Conceived Mastermind, which is unlike any mastermind you've seen before, check out our show notes below and you will find all the links to join the waitlist or sign up and join the mastermind now. And number 3, lastly, if you do nothing else, make sure you come and find us on Instagram for daily behind the scenes and hugely savable and value-packed content. You will find us at Launch Easy Life. Well, that's it from me today. Now go out there and create your well-paid business and your well-lived life.